himself?
Mostly by myself, he said. He tested mostly by himself for this Pro Tour. He also called it a miracle that he made it to the top 8.
Welcome to the semifinals.
I don't believe it anymore.
I don't buy that.
It's his third top 8.
This is his third.
He's on Team Can't Lose. That's
yeah,
what I feel
that's
like.
It's population Liu Yu-Chen.
Right.
He top 8'd Pro Tour Ether Revolt in 2017 and Ether Drift this year. Of course, play draw critical in this matchup, and Ken gets to be on the play, well, for the whole time he was our #1 seed coming in.
Yeah, and take a look here. Ken actually on the play here did mulligan, does have a Heartfire hero to play here, but actually preferring to keep up Lightning Strike here, thinking it's very likely for Liu Yu-Chen to play out a 2-drop this turn, or any creature this turn for that matter.
Yeah, ideally for Liu Yu-Chen, he does this.
Right.
He plays out 2 creatures. So yes, it is mana efficient for Lightning Strike to be used here, but card economy wise, not so great.
Right.
As Liu has already turned the tables on Ken, he's the one with the threat.
But here comes a Screaming Nemesis, one of the best cards in the matchup here. Great at pressuring the opponent's life total, and also just a fantastic blocker if you are on the back foot.
We saw that in the opening quarterfinal, also with Ken Yukihiro.
Okay, I think Liu Yu-Chen has 2 Monstrous Rages, no other creatures. Could potentially just go for a very large attack here. Attack with Hired Claw, give Monstrous Rage, and then also give it +1/+1. That does allow you to play around cards like Lightning Strike.
So far,
and
that's
Monstrous
exactly
Rage.
what's happening. There's the Monstrous Rage.
Yes, that's 6 damage being taken here total.
Jeez.
And again, it's got 4 toughness, so Ken Yukihiro would need to rely on one of his 5 damage effects to be able to kill the Hired Claw.
And right now, it's a pair of Hired Claws and a Heartfire hero for Ken. Is he going to need to pump the brakes here?
Yeah, it's really interesting. You might want to just keep the Screaming Nemesis back, right? Because no matter what happens, you're feeling okay. But you can also play a little offense and defense here, too. You could play either the Hired Claw or Heartfire hero out of your hand, give that haste, attack with that, while also keeping the Screaming Nemesis back. Because you got to be a little bit concerned about this racing situation here.
Okay, he's going to start off with the Heartfire hero activate, and both are coming in.
Getting in.
All right.
It's just a race, good old-fashioned race.
Yeah, this is a race situation. I'll land off the top there for Liu Yu-Chen. He does have another Monstrous Rage +2 Burst Lightning.
Yeah, so let's look at the math here. It's a 3/4 Hired Claw. When it attacks, it hits for 4 damage by itself. That would put Ken Yukihiro down to 9. 2 Burst Lightnings for 4 damage is 5, and Monstrous Rage will give an additional 2 points of damage because, of course, you can't have multiple roll tokens. So he's very, very close here.
That's 3 he could get him to if he wanted.
I mean, alternatively, you can also, instead of casting Monstrous Rage here, just try to use all your mana and just give it +1/+1 and still keep up double Burst Lightning.
So that's 1 less damage, but you keep the Monstrous Rage in hand.
Now, if you're afraid of the Heartfire hero getting out of hand, you could also consider Burst Lightninging that right now while it's a 2/2. So a lot of different options for Yu-Chen. But I think right now, I mean, you're really close to just being able to kill your opponent here. So I don't think he's going to keep the Hired Claw back. I don't really think that's an option against the Screaming Nemesis. It's just, does he want to go all in on as far as damage goes to Ken Yukihiro's face, or do you want to kind of split the difference and maybe also fire off a Burst Lightning on the Heartfire hero?
Let's find out. So the trigger resolves, and it looks like he's going to take the aggressive but not absolute literal maximum aggression line.
Wait.
This is going to be Burst Lightning on the hero, I assume.
Right. Yeah, I mean, this is a tricky spot.
I mean, just by activating the Lizard there, he's already saying, I'm not going to go for literal max damage this turn.
Right.
Though, as we calculated it, it would have gotten Ken down to 3 at the most anyway.
So Yu-Chen now down to 9.
And he gets to keep up Burst Lightning, does not use Monstrous Rage.
Right. Is that another Screaming Nemesis? I think it was.
It is. So does one get to stay home now?
Yeah, I feel like you can't really attack with both. You're probably just dead, you have to think. Yeah. Yeah, I like this.
Ken Yukihiro.
Now remember, the creature does have trample. Can you go Burst Lightning? What if you go Burst Lightning to the face here? That would put Ken Yukihiro down to 6.
Yes.
And then Hired Claw with Monstrous Rage. Monstrous Rage is 2 damage. Then you get another counter with 2 mana.
Plus the ping.
Yeah. So let's see. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. But the Screaming Nemesis does soak up 3 damage.
So not enough. Without some help.
Right. Might still just be interested in firing off the Burst Lightning to the face here to just use that mana, because if you find an untapped land is Soulstone Sanctuary, could that possibly get it done?
Right.
Just,
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, he
Here
does. End step. Burst you.
I think that was a Heartfire Hero.
I think is what he drew for the turn. Yeah, it was.
That's 7 damage coming in with 2, 3, 4, 5 from the ping, plus the counter, 6, plus Monstrous Rage, that's 8.
So he's
8 damage.
short.
Is he really 1 damage short? He's going to count this up over and over again. So we do have the opportunity to just try to figure out just how close Lou is here. But it does look like he might be 1 damage short. One more time. 2 counters on the creature plus the roll token. That's 3 extra damage.
So 4.
And then the claw is 1 power, so that's 4. The ping, that's 5. You give it +1/+1, that's 6. Monstrous Rage, that's 2 more, that's 8. And Screaming Nemesis has 3 toughness, so you can only get in for 8. Wow, that is so incredibly close here.
That's incredible. Down to 5, Ken with the block.
Just don't.
Okay, Ken's like, I'm blocking. I mean, Liu Chen's at 6.
I mean, he's just going to die if he can't win this turn, right? Because you have to deal 3 damage to the Nemesis. Then the 3 damage from the Nemesis goes at Liu Chen's face.
That's what I'm thinking.
But I suppose
he does have a blocker.
He does have a blocker, and then
Nemesis
it's a 1/1.
is dead.
What's in Ken's hand? He's got more action, though, right?
I think Ken has another Heartfire Hero or something.
7 power,
So Ken goes to 1. And then Lou takes 3. And then you have a blocker. So but you can't kill the blocker. Can you give it trample?
Or, right, you can't kill the blocker. It's another Hired
But Hired Claw with haste, that should be enough, right? So you play the Hired Claw with haste. Liu Chen goes down to 2.
Yes.
And the Hired Claw has 2 power. So two creatures, a 3-power creature and a 2.
+1/+0.
So this should be lethal, yeah.
There's Hired Claw.
Wow, so close.
Activated and send them sideways. And Liu Chen will be dead before the Heartfire Hero trigger gets to resolve.
Yeah. 3 damage. 2 power, Hired Claw +1 from the ping. What a close game.
Exactsies. Even Liu Chen has to smile at how close that was.
Ken wins that one.
Ken Yukihiro picks up game 1. Oh,
wow.
Man, I love this matchup. It is so exciting.
Yeah.
You know, the lines of play that the players take are so punishing.
Right.
You know, where you see these control decks where it's like, you can kind of veer a little, I'll come back this direction. These are just like, no, you missed a point of damage.
Oh, that's
GG.
everything. That is absolutely everything. And both the players really didn't. I mean, Liu Chen also gave him opportunities at more draws. He did have that inflection point where you go, do I fire off this Burst Lightning now? Because if I draw something off the top, that would get it. I mean, he could have drawn an Opera Song, right? An Opera Song off the top would be 2 extra points of damage.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that was incredible.
I love the life total still 2-1. Just showcasing to everybody just how close that last game was.
I mean, that game is about as close as it could possibly get, right? Ken attacked for lethal, literally Exactsies. And if combat damage were able to happen, he would have lost, right? Like, there was a trigger on the stack when he won the game that said you lose the game.
Right. Yeah. And
it doesn't get closer than that.
And you have to think about it from Ken's side of the table. Sometimes those decisions on what to attack with aren't so trivial. 2 turns before, he could have just attacked with 1 creature, but he attacked with both, putting him in a position to win.
That's right.
And then the turn after, he could have attacked with both creatures, but only attacked with 1.
And Liu Chen was 1 point away on that attack.
Right.
Goodness sakes. Both of our players on very similar lists. is Ken's 7th top finish.
Wow, 7.
He is in that upper echelon.
There are actually 10 top finishes just between these two players.
Right. Okay, players taking a look at their opening hands. I'll remind you, no sideboards just yet. We're playing best 3 out of 5.
Starting game 2. Do we have opening hands, sir?
And Liu Chen gets to go first.
They're finishing cards in hand real quick.
We want to make sure we got all the cards in hand here before we start.
All right.
Yep. Our spotters are down in the feature match area with tablets standing behind the players and updating those in real time. They do an amazing job, and they make it so that we can do our job.
Right.
Also, that is a tough job.
Oh my goodness.
Like, look how much the cards move around in
Right.
the players' hands. It's pretty standard for people to shuffle their cards as they play.
Can you imagine trying to keep track of hands when somebody's playing the Omniscience deck?
Oh,
It's just,
super
you're just like,
tough.
okay, just game over. Just,
I mean,
just the
to be
erase.
fair, Paul, I used to do that job for a while, and it was during the Sphinx's Revelation era. So
Oh,
you're not
man.
touching me on that.
Right.
Yeah.
Because like, you actually have to get that right. Whereas when the Omniscience player is going off, they're just going to win that turn, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
All right. As we've seen often, the way this starts is an attrition battle.
Yep.
Strangely enough, but it's just using removal on opposing threats until we see kind of what's left. And oftentimes, the Screaming Nemesis is what's left, and it is definitely the hardest thing to get off the board. And now,
right.
who's going to flinch first? We
Yeah.
got a little bit of a game of chicken going here with 2 Screaming Nemesis flying past each other.
Off to the races. Now the awkward part is being the person that has the second creature in play with Screaming Nemesis, because then all of a sudden you have the ability to redirect the damage that your Screaming Nemesis takes to the other creature if a trade happens.
Looks like they're going to be 2 ships passing in the night for now.
Yeah, it's like, does Liu Chen just not play a creature?
He did not.
Yeah.
He's got a Burst Lightning. He's got a Witchstalker Frenzy.
And take a look. I mean, Ken Yukihiro has a Screaming Nemesis and an Emberheart Challenger that he could have played, but chose not to play another haste creature here.
I mean, nobody wants to be the first one to blink because that's who gets 2 for 1.
Yeah. Although playing a second Nemesis doesn't seem that bad, right?
Yes, that
Right.
that transfers that 2 for 1 further. Well, we are still in game 1 here, and thus Magebane Lizard is still in the list. And look at this. Ken is just going to go for it. He's
Yeah.
going to dump 2 creatures on the battlefield.
Liu Chen activating the Sanctuary here can get a discount on the Witchstalker Frenzy after attacking. So you can kill the Magebane Lizard if you want, right? You just attack with both creatures. Then you can tap the Sanctuary and a Mountain for 2 mana to kill the Lizard. Get in for 6 points of damage. And then at that point, Ken might need to slow down a little bit with the Screaming Nemesis and maybe kind of split the difference the way that we saw him do in the last game. There's also a Burst Lightning, and Liu Chen, he can actually just kill both creatures if he wants. Of course, what you want to be doing is first use the Frenzy to kill the Magebane Lizard before casting your Burst Lightning on the Heartfire Hero, if that's what you want to do. Oh, okay, actually choosing not to use the Frenzy here.
He's going to attack with both, but the 1/4 Lizard is happy to jump in front of the 3/3.
So maybe just use potentially a Burst Lightning here, or just maybe just play out a bunch of creatures.
Yeah, the attack is free.
Or could also be looking to save the Witchstalker Frenzy for his own Screaming Nemesis, just as a 5 damage burn spell.
Well, it looks like both players have opened the floodgates. If these Nemesis fight each... Oh, wow, there's double Screaming Nemesis now for Ken.
Does Liu possibly have the win at this point? I mean, Ken's already down to 11, and Liu Chen does have the Witchstalker Frenzy onto the Screaming Nemesis for 5 extra points of damage.
Yeah,
So he's got to be close here.
He does.
Liu can consider just maybe chump blocking with the Heartfire Hero. You get to prevent a little bit of damage. You get to prevent 2 damage, and you still get the 1 damage in
Step closer to me.
with the Heartfire Hero dying. Still have 3 creatures to attack with, or the Witchstalker Frenzy combination. Oh, if you block both, then the Magebane Lizard might also die here. So yeah, if you block both of these like this, there's 2 1-damage triggers that go on the stack. So I imagine one is going to go to the face and one might go to the lizard. Makes a lot of sense.
1 1 here.
It's like 1 damage or kill a 1/4. I'd much rather kill a 1/4.
Right, especially since next turn that's
Yeah.
probably 3 more damage coming in.
So now let's
Wow.
see.
13
Burst
to
lightning.
10. Is that right? Or 13
Yeah, so
to
now a
10?
burst lightning to the face would put Ken down to 8. And a Witch Stalker Frenzy is putting him at an effective 3. But Ken can block both of the creatures, so it's not quite enough. But you might be interested in just firing off the burst lightning in case you draw like a lightning strike.
Take 1 and 2.
Okay, okay. Now you can only block one of the 3/3s. You take 3, and then Witch Stalker Frenzy is 5.
So that's 8, but
That's
not
8.
10.
Yeah, that's 8.
Heartfire
That-
Hero off the top.
Don't think that does
11,
anything
10.
here to change the clock.
Still, Liu Chen did manage to keep his life total pretty high after that transaction. He's still at 11.
Yeah.
And he is making headway. Ken's down to 7 after the Mage Bane
Yeah.
Lizard block.
Doesn't have to go for the Frenzy just yet, right? And
Right.
you still have blockers, and you have Witch Stalker Frenzy still.
Burst Lightning off the top there for Ken. Is there any way he can get the job done this turn?
I just don't think he has enough damage,
Right.
right? Like double Screaming Nemesis plus Burst Lightning is 8 damage. There's an Emberheart Challenger there as well, but Liu Chen can just block it with the Sanctuary or even the Heartfire Hero. But if he plays defensively, I suppose... Oh, okay.
Cancel that order. Both Screaming Nemesis. He is attacked with all of them all the time this game.
You can probably just chump block one with the Heartfire Hero.
Definitely can't take both,
yeah,
right? Then you're just dead to Frenzy.
Right. So just block one. If you do that, you basically take 2 less damage and you put Ken down to 6. And then that means then Ken can't really play another spell because he has a Mage Bane Lizard in play. And so if he does, it'd go to 5. Then Liu Chen could use Witch Stalker Frenzy on his own Screaming Nemesis to deal the final 5 points of damage to Ken Yukihiro.
Right. You'd love to see Ken get down where he can't cast any non-creature spells for the rest of the game.
Yeah, this is actually a pretty good block here, I think.
Yeah, upstairs. So you take 4, you take 1.
So being at 6 is very, very big here. So now Liu Chen just needs to attack with Screaming Nemesis. It must be blocked. At least 1 damage will come through if the Mage Bane Lizard blocks, and then you use the Witch Stalker Frenzy for the game.
Yeah, because he also has to block the other as well.
Right.
And there you go. That Lizard is going to just hit it for 1.
No effects.
Yeah, no effects.
Oh,
You take 1 and you're at 5. We're still in combat.
But Ken Yukihiro does have a Burst Lightning.
Oh,
If
and it
it's
took a damage?
If it's taking the damage, so
Oh,
you take 2
no.
less damage. So you kill this, so you don't
So
take
he
the
takes
5.
1 from the Lizard and 2 from the Lightning, but
Right.
not 5?
Yes, that's not lethal?
Oh, how did this happen?
Oh my goodness.
Oh, Liu Chen is not happy with how this went. I don't think he foresaw that chain of events.
Oh my goodness. He still has a blocker here.
Sorry.
What's his life total?
He's got to figure out where the 2 damage is going to go here.
Take 1. Yes. You 6.
2 Screaming
I mean,
Nemesis,
if he's at
that's
6, then he's
lethal,
just
isn't
dead.
it?
Yeah, if he's at
Right?
6, it's
All you
if
have
he's
is a
at
3/3
7, he can
blocker.
live. Is he at 6?
11, 7.
If he's at 6, he is dead if
He's
he doesn't
dead.
have a follow-up here. And I don't think that he does.
Yeah, you see his hand is Opera Love Song. And which, I guess he could, if he hasn't played a land. No, because he needs that. He needs the Sanctuary to block either way.
Man, how close have these games been?
Yeah, and he's at 6.
This is just the game. All Ken needs to do here.
Ken's at 2.
Yeah? I mean, you can even just play another creature here if you want. You're not
Curse
taking
of Light
damage.
Shatter, that's kind of another
Yeah.
Screaming Nemesis, if you
Yeah,
will.
and Lou
But he
sees
had it on board.
Wow, these games.
Incredible,
Ken
Ken.
Yukihiro.
Incredible stuff from Ken Yukihiro.
Yeah.
He told Ailey, I'm the best mono red player I believe him.
Oh my gosh. I mean,
Unbelievable.
winning game number 1 at 1 life. And here, I mean, we all kind of saw what Liu Yichen was trying to do, and he kind of set that up well, but just, you know, he had to go for the Witchstalker Frenzy after damage just to get that last point of damage. And Ken recognizing this and goes, well, if it takes the 1 damage and you go for the Frenzy kill, I can just kill it with the lightning. And Ken, once again, surviving. What was he in that game?
2.
Okay, so,
So
a little better than the last
life.
one. Oh,
Twice
between
as
the
good.
two, yeah, 3 life between 2
games.
games.
He had 3 life to spare. I have to say, this is one of the best matchups for us, though. Like, to cover, it's all on board. The decisions all matter, and the games have been super close.
Yeah, absolutely. And wow, I mean, there's just so many tiny little decision points that matter. I mean, again, even in the previous turn, can you go hero with the double Screaming Nemesis? You have to think, well, okay, he's behind now. Like, certainly you can't attack with both, because you didn't see him do that in the previous game. In the previous game, he attacked with only one of the Screaming Nemesis. But in this game, he attacked with both, recognizing that different lines that Liu Yichen can probably take, and still finding the one that doesn't quite kill him on the spot.
He attacked with those Screaming Nemesis every turn, every time, and usually we see a little bit of a different line. All right, well, the players are going to now consult their sideboards. When we come back right after this break, we'll be into game 3 of our first semifinal. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to coverage here of Pro Tour Final Fantasy. Marshall Sutcliffe with Paul Cheon. Thank you so much for joining us. We are in semifinal number 1 of the Pro Tour. Just part of the many things happening at MagicCon.
What is that?
Wow. I wonder what's going on there. Battle Box?
Battle of Wits?
Yeah, maybe. You think that was one person's library? I like that.
It was huge.
Treacherous card, like eye level. That was great. Yeah, tons of things to do here. Paul and I had a little stroll. Artist Alley, there's the vendors, there's the free play area, there's the, get a booster draft going. It was tempting, I'm not going to lie, but we have a job to do here. We've got semifinal 1, 2 games down in our mono red mirror between Liu Yu-chen and Ken Yukihiro. This is in many ways to decide who's the champion of mono red for our top 8. For those of you just joining us, we had something I've never seen before, even after having covered the game for many years, which is that our entire top 8 was split between 2 decks, Izzet and mono red. That is already pretty rare and kind of a weird thing, but the way the bracket turned out was all the mono red was on one side and all the Izzet was on the other. So we are guaranteed to have a mono red versus Izzet final. The question is just who is the champion of each? And we are here to decide the mono red side. Paul and I are along with you. And so far, it's looking like Ken. He's up 2-0.
Yeah, I mean, both games were just absolute nail biters here. And, you know, I mean, if you really just kind of look at these cards, it's really not a noticeable difference in terms of just kind of the options that they have. Both decks are roughly 90% the same. I mean, even if you look at what's kind of coming in out of the sideboard here, you know, from Ken Yukihiro, 2 Suplex, 3 Torch to Towers coming in, whereas Liu Yu-chen brings in 2 Torch to Towers, Obliterating Bolt, and a Witchstalker Frenzy, right? So both sides are just bringing in a bunch of different burn spells, but at the end of the day, you're both trying to curve out.
And do not start play until we have a judge back over.
Can I get the step back? Already.
Too much damage. Too much damage.
Yeah, you go through those life pads when you're playing mono red.
But yeah, man, that game too. I mean, I thought game 1 was insane. And then that second game, I just thought Ken was most likely just dead there. I'm pretty sure Liu Yu-chen did as well.
You saw the look on his face after Ken kind of pointed out that burst lightning play. And he was like, wow, didn't see that. You know, it's tough because Liu Yu-chen, I mean, again, this is his 3rd top finish. He's a world-class player, but Ken is on a different level. My head hurts thinking about the different lines of play that you have to calculate for this deck, and the fact that they're unforgiving. You do not get to choose, oops, the wrong line of play. Oh, maybe I shouldn't have attacked here.
I mean, you even saw that just right there, Lou, just kind of shaking his head a little bit there, just kind of probably just in shock, honestly, with what just happened there. You just, in most instances, you win that game. And Ken just making sure that he had that perfectly timed burst lightning.
Look at him. I mean,
it's
he's
tough.
Still feeling it.
Absolutely.
The question I have, and I don't know the answer to it, is was there another?
He drew the opera love song. I'm trying to think if there is something else you could do. I mean, of course, you can look back many turns earlier where he was holding a bunch of removal spells. Should he have just used it to kill a Magebane Lizard just to try to not have that big blocker? Because that thing soaked up 3 damage twice, I think.
It did.
Right from the Sanctuary. So maybe the Witchstalker Frenzy would have just been better used on the Magebane Lizard. So you never know.
Look at Liu Yu-chen. I guarantee the thoughts he has in his head are exactly what we're talking about. He's like, should I have used removal 2 turns and then I could have got in?
Yeah. Because also there's you could have used Opera Love Song to maybe pump your opponent's creatures and your one of your creatures. That would also get some extra points in. So there's just a lot of
lizard.
Consider, right?
Yeah. Okay, players taking a look at their opening hands post-board here for game number 3, and Ken does not like what he sees. Liu Yu-chen is on the play and has kept.
See at least the Rock Face Village and a Hired Claw, Liu Yu-chen's hand. But we've seen Ken mulligan a lot, and I'm wondering if it's just very bad hands or if there's also some consideration to aggressively mulliganing, just to make sure, especially when you're on the draw, to make sure you have the tools to kind of keep pace with the potential 1-2-3 start from the opposing side.
We did see in the semifinal match that Ken Yukihiro ultimately ended up winning. He was on 4. Remember on the first game that we came in? So that's, maybe an unlucky day, but maybe it is that he's, mulliganing very aggressively.
He's like, I need to make sure I have a Torch to Tower or a Burst Lightning after sideboard. Something along those lines.
Yeah.
Now, are there enough lands in this hand? It looks like a 1-lander.
Oh, he's on the draw.
He is on the draw. Does he have a 1-mana removal spell? I see a Charring Bite. I see Monstrous Rage and a Suplex. Self-destruct probably goes on the bottom here. All right, he is on the draw, and I believe Ken might be keeping a one-lander here.
All right, well, for Ken's sake, he's going to need to find a land quickly. We're going to see hired claw here from Liu Chen to start off. This is a good start for him.
Oh,
okay. Land off the top. Clean living for Ken Yukihiro.
Right, but no one-mana removal spell, and that can add up, because if Liu Chen plays a two-mana creature here, and Ken doesn't have the one-mana removal spell, one of these creatures is just going to get in for 2 or 3 extra points of damage.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see Liu's reaction to that as well. If Ken just says, okay, and draws his card for the turn, there's a huge chunk of cards that are not possible to be in Ken's hand. He would have either played a threat or used a removal spell at 1 mana if he had it.
Oh, and look at this.
It's going to give Liu Chen a lot of information about what Ken's working with. Look at that. Do you see him look up? He's like, wait, what?
Yeah, Liu Chen playing it very, very patiently here. Monstrous Rage does not save the hired claw here. But Liu Chen also wanted to probably set up a Emberheart Challenger plus protect it with Monstrous Rage combination, because the only way to kill an Emberheart Challenger, well, if you keep up Monstrous Rage, is a Charring Bite.
And with that already gone.
Yeah, look at this. Not going for the pump spell, keeping the protection available. Suplex will not kill Emberheart Challenger here. Now the question is, if you're Ken, do you still have to go for it here? Or, because I don't think he has a third land. He has a Screaming Nemesis in hand, and he's going for it.
He's going for the suplex. This is going to be a blowout for Liu Chen.
Monstrous Rage will turn the Emberheart Challenger into a 4 toughness creature here.
And Ken just nods. He says, yeah, I know, man, but like, what am I supposed to do?
Yeah, you got to do what you have to do.
And Ken did have some hope there, as Liu Chen had the opportunity to pile on extra damage, but didn't, and it really paid off.
So Liu Chen now has several options. You can start getting your card advantage engine going here. You have Rockface Village plus Emberheart Challenger just to draw an extra card. If you want to dig 2 cards deep, of course, you also have access to the Opera Love Song. Now, noting that is 1 copy left still in Liu Chen's deck after sideboard. This is tough because he doesn't have another mountain. If you activate on the Emberheart Challenger, you won't have another mountain to be able to play a red spell to play around another suplex, right? Like, you need to be able to keep up that spell, so it's kind of a tricky spot here for Liu. But he's going for it. All right, does find a creature, which is really big, because now it's like, okay, well, I have more than 1 threat available. You still take a bunch of damage, and I still have this hired claw in play.
Ken Yukihiro at 12.
So can go for the suplex here on the Emberheart Challenger while Liu's tapped up. But of course, Screaming Nemesis, we've just seen this time and time again as just an amazing blocker in spots like this. Oh my gosh, I think that was a Screaming Nemesis from Liu Chen as well.
It was, wow.
So you play that, attack with everything. Gets kind of tricky because Liu will, there's a chance he might get 2 for 1 here, but maybe he doesn't care just because Ken is at 12 life.
And you could get in for a big chunk before that happens.
What are you blocking here if you're Ken Yukihiro? Okay. Happy to just eat the hired claw. Can go for an Opera Love Song here to pump both creatures. Also get a trigger off of the Emberheart Challenger, which means the can't cast it, but the Emberheart Challenger will be a 4/4. So when Screaming Nemesis takes 3 damage, you won't actually be able to kill the Emberheart Challenger here.
That's really nice.
5.
And so just 3 to the face here is the only option, which Liu Chen's very, very happy about. Can't play anything else. All right, now probably need to, oh, no more suplex. I thought he still had, no, he does have a suplex. Probably gonna fire that off here because there's 2 Rockface Villages in play. You can't save it. You can't cast any of those red spells. Now, Liu Chen, if he top decks an untapped land, you can still activate the Sanctuary, attack for 3. Also has Screaming Nemesis still in hand.
He found a mountain.
He found a mountain.
Does he want to be mana efficient?
No, Screaming Nemesis attack, then torch the tower for the game.
Torch it, and there we go. Finally on the board here for Liu Chen. So a mulligan from Ken and being on the draw. plus a little bit of a mana issue. He
Right.
hit land 1 and 2, but no 1-drop.
Yeah, I think, I mean, just think about how much damage those creatures were able to pile on. If Ken had the 1-mana removal spell, this would be a completely different game. But Ken did have that 2-win cushion now. He will have 2 opportunities now to be on the play, which is absolutely huge in the mono red mirror here. So he's still got to be feeling very, very good about his chances.
You can see the players are looking at deck lists, perhaps trying to predict.
I don't think they're
There's no-
sideboarded, right? They're like,
They did.
Okay.
Well, one of them did. Liu Yu Chen said, I'm good. Ken did take out
yeah,
a card.
yeah, took out a Charring Bite for a Tersa Light Shatter, so wants to be more aggressive on the play here and just bring in another large hasting creature.
One more big threat.
Nope.
Yeah, sideboarding. Once we get those Mage Bane Lizards out, it's just subtle tweaks.
Right, it's just like every card is good, right?
Right.
All the creatures are good, Monstrous Rages are good, all the burn spells are good, and that's basically your deck.
Yeah, there's only a few differentiating cards, right? I mean, if you put them into piles, it's like bunch of burn spells, bunch of threats, and then there's Monstrous Rage.
Right.
You know, and it's the one that can be the difference a lot of the time.
Yeah, and a lot of it is just kind of navigating the gameplay to try to play around it and not get blown out by Monstrous Rage. Now, we saw Ken get absolutely destroyed by it in the last game, but it was one of those instances where because he missed those land drops, he didn't have a choice. And Liu Yu Chen did had the well-timed Monstrous Rage. That basically won him that game. Ooh, 2 Frenzies and a Rage. 3 Frenzies? There is a Torch.
That's too many, right?
Yeah, there is a Torch to Tower.
Witchstalker Frenzy,
Keep 7.
inefficient way to deal with threats. It's just far too slow. It tends to play out a little bit more like a combo piece with Nemesis.
I don't think you can keep that hand.
Yeah, I would get that one back.
Just way too many. The thing is, you're going to use that Torch to Tower on whatever Ken plays anyways. So then you're just looking at a bunch of like 3-mana removal spells, which is just really inefficient.
What about Ken's hand? You see the Rockface Village and the Soulstone Sanctuary as the lands.
Oh, wow. And did he keep, it looks like he kept his hand here. So
he can cast, what, a
Ken-
couple of cards here?
he can cast 1 card. Oh, no, he's got 2 creatures. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
got a Hired Claw and the Heartfire hero here, but absolutely needs to find him out. Now we've seen kind of this issue on both sides, right? It's, you know, sometimes you think Rockface Village is mostly free, but there are times where, well, you know, you're playing the Soulstone Sanctuary, you're really pushing the limits to how many red sources your deck actually has for spells, and it's something like 16 or 17 actual mountains.
Okay, let's see if Liu Yu Chen has a keeper. This is him going to 6.
Okay, bunch of creatures, no removal, but has to keep this. Looks like bottoming a land
Table
here.
out,
Yeah.
Starting game 4.
Okay, game
Right.
number 4 underway. If Ken wins it, he will be in the finals. And Liu Yu
Show
Chen
us your hand.
fighting for his tournament life.
Okay, now let's start.
And Liu Yu Chen does have Hired Claw into Emberheart Challenger. But Ken's hand can be pretty anemic if he just doesn't find an actual mountain.
Hired Claw for each player here to start.
Oh, no mountain. I think you just block with a Rockface Village up, right?
Definitely.
Oh, no.
It gets a ping through.
Yeah.
There's
But-
a Heartfire here, Sanctuary, go, but Ken can't cast anything.
But when Liu
now.
Yu Chen sees that side of Ken's board, he already knows Ken probably doesn't have a mountain.
You see Screaming Nemesis was the draw for Yukihiro.
Yeah, attack for 4. This is a huge, huge turn here for Ken.
He needs
Needs
to
to at
find a
least
land.
any land, right? Because he
Yes.
does have a Screaming Nemesis. It doesn't even have to be mountain. Does
Uh-oh.
he get there?
No, it's
No,
Burst Lightning.
Burst
He
Lightning.
can't even cast it.
Oh, that is brutal here.
He can't cast anything.
And so it's at that point, since he can't cast anything, he's just attacking with his creatures and hopes that Lou just doesn't have a great draw here. Now, Lou would love a land there. He didn't bottom a land and kept Opera Love Song. So now he can't have as explosive of a start as he wants. Imagine if he had a third land here. He could have even cast a Witch Doctor Frenzy. But this is still great.
Yeah, this is probably the last chance Ken will have.
Oh,
he laughs
just
because
laughs.
it was Monstrous Rage. Another stone uncastable. And is he just dead here? 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's way more than enough. Right? With Opera Love Song? Yeah, just on both.
There's also
heroes.
a Manifold Mouse. You're also at 13. You're feeling pretty safe. But Opera Love Song on both challengers gives you a really good shot at hitting a land off the top, too. And there it is.
GG. Lu Yu Chen even things up. That game, not quite as good as the others have been.
Yeah, a bit of a risky keep there from Ken Yukihiro.
Yeah,
he has mulliganed a lot.
You were like, oh, he kept that, and that was the problem. He needed to find red. He needed to find a mountain. The Screaming Nemesis off the top did open him up. Like, if he found any land there, he could have had that nice blocking situation that we've described. But instead, he found Burst Lightning into Monstrous Rage.
Yeah.
Uncastable.
I mean, the thing is, his hand just doesn't work without an actual mountain. And to rely on, what, 16 cards or something like that on top of your deck, it's still a pretty decent sized risk, I want to say, because if you just draw the Rockface Village, you just, that also just makes you very, very easy to play against, right? You just can't be representing any burn spells whatsoever. But of course, if Ken draws a mountain, he's looking very, very good in that spot.
Right. Wow, game 5 incoming. Ken started off on the play, and he'll be here for this last game. That is absolutely critical, by the way. Ken went from a heavy favorite with the 2 wins before. He's still a favorite, though. He's on the play.
Yeah.
That really matters.
Yeah, being on the play's got to put you at least a 60-40 in the matchup.
And at the levels of Magic that we're playing here, that's about as good as you're going to get.
Oh, absolutely. Maybe like a 70-30 against us. 75.
It's worse against me. Don't even give me these mono red cards. It's not pretty.
All right. Lu Yu Chen was down 0-2. He played a grindy 5-game set against Percy Fang. Has a chance to pull off the reverse sweep here against.
Extremely difficult to do.
Can you hear? Oh,
that's a lot of mountains. Okay, Lu Yu Chen. So Ken's already kept.
Ken's hand is fantastic. Look at
3 mountains, Rockface Village, Suplex, Manifold Mouse, Emberheart Challenger.
Right, so no 1-drop here, but you do have Emberheart Challenger plus removal spell and the ability to just play a Manifold Mouse and make 2 tokens with Rockface Village to go with the mice. So this is a very, very solid hand. Only thing it's missing is basically a 1-drop.
Okay, let's see if we can get a 6-card hand here from Lu Yu Chen. If you go beyond 6, it's starting to get really sketchy. You know, this deck really does require a certain amount of material to work. Especially because of how we described the games playing out in that attrition war. If you just, if you're on 5, you just don't have the firepower.
Yeah, we've seen some of those games where it just kind of comes down to last threat standing in the quarters. That's kind of what happens. So, yeah, you are absolutely correct.
Let's see if he's got a
lands
opener.
Oh,
that's a
no
lands. That's a
zero lands.
Let's go to 5. Ken Yukihiro just gives him a little nod. He says, I've been there before, bud. I know what it's like.
Yeah, I mean, he literally lost that last game with some man issues. Of course, he did keep that hand here. Lou had simply just had no choice in that game. So this needs to be the best 5-card hand he can imagine. 2 mountains, a removal spell, a Screaming Nemesis, maybe a 2-drop, and then maybe a 3rd land off the top. Something like that.
Yeah, the Screaming Nemesis and 2 lands is right where you want to be. By the time you get to turn 3, you hope to have drawn that 3rd land.
Yeah.
There aren't that many ways to come back, but that is one of them.
And Ken, understanding that this is an extremely favorable position for him, but still, you can see, look at just that level of intensity in his face right now. He's like, I still don't want this to slip away.
Yeah.
Like,
and Ken's an affable guy.
Yeah.
He smiles a lot. But He knows the stakes here.
This is for the finals of the Pro Tour. See, one land, I think.
Well,
Is it just one land?
yeah, but
Yeah, you got to keep it. You absolutely have to keep it. Okay, I see a Monstrous Rage. Maybe there's a... Oh, he does have Mountain, Heartfire Hero, Manifold Mouse, Monstrous Rage.
Okay, that's a lot of damage. And Ken's hand is a little slow.
Yeah.
He's not going to do anything on turn one.
Begin. Table off and starting game 5.
Mountain go.
All right, Heartfire Hero.
Hero survives
Yes.
for a second. Is he going to get suplexed here?
Possibly, if you just don't want to get Manifold Moused out. Right, especially when your opponent's on 5. You actually play kind of a different game.
You do.
You just try to run your opponent out of resources. But here, this is a double creature turn, I think.
For Ken.
Is that a Manifold Mouse? Oh, it looks like he's going to go Manifold Mouse Heartfire Hero and pump it. No, he's just going to attack for 2 and then play a Heartfire Hero. That way, next turn you can play Manifold Mouse Offspring and pump both of your creatures to get 2 triggers.
Yeah, both mice.
Okay, now there is no removal in Ken's hand, and Liu Yuchen does have Monstrous Rage.
Double Monstrous Rage?
You know, there's some world here where maybe you can try to get in for some double strike trample damage for the win. You're certainly not keeping this back, and you're going for the Monstrous Rage. You're just maximizing damage here. So this is 8 damage coming in now. Ken Yukihiro down to 12 with no removal spells. Liu Yuchen also has a Burst Lightning in hand. If Ken Yukihiro goes for the manifested Manifold Mouse play, or Offspring rather,
yeah,
he does have the ability to Burst Lightning one of these creatures.
Go. Oh, this is nerve-wracking.
Oh, that's a big draw.
Wow.
Huge, huge draw here. With no shenanigans, I feel like you have to just go for Charring Bite here. That is how you lose this game.
Exactly.
Hero.
He is simply trying to close the door on the unlikely outcomes at this point.
Right, so that is an attack for 5. You might still want a Charring Bite here for the Prowess trigger. Yep. Yeah, and that was
so devastating for Liu Yuchen. That felt like his hopes and dreams right there.
Absolutely. That was his route to victory. This is going to be much more difficult here. Could still draw Screaming Nemesis off the top, right? There's still a world here, but it got way, way harder.
Wow, and he actually was looking good up until that.
So now might need to use Burst Lightning on the Heartfire Hero here. He would still take 3 damage. Still take 6 damage total. We're trying to slow things down. That is a 3/2.
3 and 3. And 6.
So 12 life each.
Nemesis?
He needs a big threat here. Oh,
That looked like Witchstalker Frenzy.
Yeah, I mean, that is an answer, I suppose. You can kill the Challenger.
Yeah.
But next turn, Ken's still going to have...
on 2 cards.
Yeah, but Ken's still going to have 2 creatures in play this turn, right?
Manifold
It's
Mouse.
like you're going to kill the Challenger because you have to, but there's going to be a Manifold Mouse and an Offspring token in play, and Liu Yuchen just has a Monstrous Rage in hand.
This is coming up really nicely for Ken. Heartfire Hero.
Okay,
he's going to target it too.
Holding off on the Manifold Mouse here, okay.
So now we're going to see the Frenzy.
Yep. Now Liu Yuchen has to think, okay, which one is the more problematic card? Going for the Heartfire Hero here just to minimize the damage.
7. Go.
Liu Yuchen down to 7 now. Oh, that is a Screaming Nemesis.
Wow, okay, Screaming Nemesis off the top for Liu Yuchen. We may have a game here.
Wait, but is this just lethal? I think it might be. That's a Manifold Mouse double strike and 2 spells.
Oh, he can just play it.
He has Torch the Tower and Burst Lightning here.
Yes.
This is lethal.
Upstairs and Torch the Tower, and that is Ken Yukihiro securing his seat in the finals. Oh my goodness.